It's really shameless the way that the left establishment culture today always goes right in for the lynch mob to, hang the Second Amendment whenever they get a chance. Um, you know, the, the, the fact is, this country is a gun country. It's just as much a country of gun freedom as it is of religious freedom or freedom of speech. You know, that's just the way it is. This isn't a debate or an argument. There's nothing to debate. You know, those old dead white guys wrote this into law, and it's the way that it is. And we have the right to bear arms, and really, it's already become way too restrictive. If you want to look at what they thought something that was designed to resist a tyrannical government. So I fully believe that they would um, allow citizens to have RPGs, mines, tanks, jets, F-18s, what have you. So we've already greatly restricted the power, and then they turn around and use that as an argument to say you should have a musket. You know what I mean? They completely reverse it because that's what leftists do. Instead of saying, well, yeah, it already is greatly restricted and now is not anywhere near the strength it was designed to be at. So that means that you shouldn't have any right at all because now you can't effectively resist, which isn't entirely true. Um, but it's that. Do you see what I'm saying? They completely flip it around. Um, and so there can't we. And here's the thing: if you were in this situation directly, it was one of your children, your niece, your nephew, what have you. You have to accept for the possibility that you would react and say, yes, let's ban, AR-15s, let's do whatever. But that's the same thing that our society stops and says, look, if God forbid something happened to somebody's child, let's say from a predator, a pedophile or something, you can't go lynch that guy, you know? As much as you would want to, you can't. And we even tell you, look, if you do, you're going to prison. And we say that's civilization. Well, this is the same dynamic. If those people have to basically be told, look, you can't get a posse and go lynch the Second Amendment. Even though we can understand why you would want to, can sympathize with you, that will result in the breakdown of the whole society, if permitted. And the other thing too is like there is something hard for me to believe that these same people that we would either on record support 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds having sex changes, or probably would greatly not want to be on record opposing that, who will rip the roots right out from society, who will pump this music into these kids where they're singing, Molly Molly Percocet, like over and over again at age 10 as the chorus of a song. Watching like, hardcore porn or like God knows bestiality or what God knows what, people being killed or something um, on their smartphones when they're 9 years old. You know what I mean? Like, though, that's not. It's hard for me to believe that the people who support all those things and don't have a problem with them, who don't write any articles about this being an issue, really truly care about the youth of this country in some kind of righteous sense. You know, I have a hard time um, believing that. But regardless of really any of the other things I've said, this is a gun country. It is. That's what it is. You know, and I believe that the reason that some of these movements haven't been able to take place, like the various communist movements, you could say fascist movements, whatever, is because there's an underlying fear of especially going out into the countryside when, you know, behind each door is potentially somebody, or, at the end of a line of trees is somebody with a rifle or a gun. I think it's had a much more powerful effect than we realize, um, and would still in the future. So, but regardless, this is not an argument. It's the Second Amendment. It's just as much as the First Amendment or any amendment. It's our right, and it's not up for debate. That's what I would just urge people: is if you get into a situation, somebody, make sure that it's clear that um, this isn't a debate. This isn't like, oh, well, you'll give this much on like whatever the issue they think, the environment. I mean, which is a conservative movement is heavily, should be, and I think naturally is protective of the environment. But whatever it is, okay, just say whatever they think the issue is, healthcare, whatever, and they'll say, well, we give back and forth. There's no give on the Second Amendment, just like there's no give on the First Amendment, right? There's nothing to give at all.